This is Recruitment Agency Ignition with Andy Whitehead. Helping you build your recruitment employment business fast. Using digital and automation and one-to-many systems, tools, and inbound strategies.
Welcome to this week's Inner Circle call. We've got a hot seat with a slight difference. So George is at a place where, and I think these are the figures, George, we've gone from 8K a month to around about 32,000 a month. The exact figures I was looking at 1 second ago. However, my memory has been shocking all morning. It's been a packed up morning, but we've had that sort of growth, George, which is pretty darn good. So George's question was, listen, I love Inner Circle. I love what we've done here. However, I want something new. I want to scale. I want to be doing the next steps, etc. So George has got this growth that's happened, and we've had this move from, as I say, 8K per month. I'm looking at 32K a month. We'll get up to 60K a month. So we've done good. So we 4x'd in our first year in a month or two. So that's good. So that's what we've done, okay? So George's question now is, what do I do next? And George, I'm going to unmute you shortly, okay? So George has shared his some metrics, and he shared some other bits and pieces. So why is George on the call? The reason why George is on the call, and George would love you, know I love you. This is the reason why George is on the call is because where George is now and where we want to go next is a common decision point for a member. A common decision point for a member. So if you're doing currently a figure which is similar to George, whatever your conversion will be in your country, or you've had that sort of growth in your first year or so, whatever it might be within the circle, naturally you want to know what your next step is. You want to be doing something more, okay? You want to be doing something more. Now, the reason why George is on the call today is because I want to help George, and George asked a really good question. I want to be going to the next step. I want to be doing something that takes me to the next level. Now, I never ever want to either miss expectations or I want to scare people. But my big outcome is I want to have members with us for years. So as Ken just said to me, what I'd rather have inside the Inner Circle is the right group and the right people for a long time than have hundreds and hundreds of douchebags. I'm not about that. It's about growing together. It's about moving together. So why does members stay with us 3, 4, 5, 6 years, etc.? It's for that reason. It's for that reason. So when George joined us, he had a constraint. He had a need to get from 8K a month to the next step, 16K, then 16 to 24 to 32. There's the next step now. So as we go through our business, there will always be a constraint, and things will change. So this, for me, is one of the most important insights for you as a business owner. And I'm going to use some language which I don't mean to offend, but I mean it to make a point at some points today, okay? And George, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about everybody, okay? About everybody. So when we have our business as a recruitment business owner, and we've got our numbers, whatever they're going to be, it could be 10K a month, it could be 100, 200, 400, 800, 1 mil, 3 mil, etc. Whatever your numbers are going to be. We've got these numbers, which is good. And then we've got this timeline, which is not good because we want everything yesterday. We work in recruitment. We're now. We've grown up in the era of when everything's a billion miles an hour and it's maybe ring that bell, but it's a crazy ADHD environment we live in and you've been in. So we have this model that happens. Now the model typically, I don't care whether it's 10K a month you join us out or 100K, but I'll put it down here somewhere. But what we have is this model and this growth that looks something like this. And sometimes it's like this. Other times it's like this. But typically it's going to be something like this. Okay, That's what will normally happen. Now, what also happens is this. Say we've had a 4x growth, like George. George, it's not to scaremonger you, but I do not want to be someone you're talking about in a year's time having a coffee. He says, I was with Andy White at 18 months, it's great, I 4x my business, then it turns to I've lost everything. I've seen it happen. Very, very rarely now, because I'm very careful about preempting these things. So we've had somebody who's made rapid growth, and let's say that they get to this point, and then this might happen, or model might be that. I've seen that countless times. At this point here, again, the number is not necessarily 800. It could be 300. It could be 200. It could be a million. A million is a common number where that's happened over the years. But again, I want to preempt this because my goal with this whole thing that I'm doing here is to have people with us for a long time who want to be with us. Not tied in forever. Of course not. We need to keep proving to you that we're the real deal. However, my thing is about growing together. And to do that, I need to give you not what you want. My job is to give you what you need. Now, in recruitment, there are a lot of out there, and they will tell you in a marketing video or whatever it might be what you want to hear. I'm not built that way. So I'm prefacing this, George. I'm going to be saying things that are not going to give you the silver bullet and the beautiful, wonderful, complex strategy, etc. Whatever it might be. My job is to give you what you need, okay? Not what you want. Now, I could bullshit you and tell you what you want to hear and think, great, let's get George into a 6-month plan of doing this. I'm not built that way. Recruitment's a small world. The amount of members who are inside the inner circle now who've come to us and said, I was approached by so-and-so and the way that you do things are completely different. I had to speak to 3 or 4 people before even getting through to a game plan. I know that the way you do things are different. So just prefacing this, George, I'm going to give you what you need, okay? And it's done with love. But for all of you, as you grow, you'll get to a decision point. As Ken and I were saying just now, what happens to your business, in fact, I'll do it on here. What happens with your business, guys, is when you start to grow, as you start to grow, you have a cost, i.e., for every client that you close, your cost might be $100. The cost might be $1,000. The cost might be $5,000. It might be $10,000. So what I mean by that is, for you to actually get a client placed, take all your overheads, all of your time, there will be a cost to it. It's called opportunity cost in accounting terms. Your bookkeeper may be able to help you with that. So you've got a cost. It could be cost per client, cost per candidate. Now, usually, I don't bring this up with a member until we get into $1 million plus. But it's dawned on me this is important. Your cost per client, cost to acquire a client, cost to acquire a candidate. So if you place a candidate and you've got 20K, that isn't 20K to you. You've always spent 7K running your business. So there's a cost there. And again, we got the boring bit, the timeline, not exciting. But the longer you go to actually close and get paid, whether it be a client or it be a candidate, this cost goes up. So if you mess up here, if you lose your client there, with Simon, he lost 9 roles. He didn't just lose 9 roles, so he lost whatever it was, 300K. He didn't just lose 300K. He'd already spent whatever the cost was to get to that point. So what we must make sure we do is we start to know what our cost per client is, our cost per candidate is. So what I'm saying to you guys is this. Don't look at your business when you're getting ready to scale. Don't look at it as right, this has been great. What do I do next? And it becomes a loose decision, and it becomes about doing something new. Okay? So Ken is doing pretty much the same strategy he's done for the last year and a half. However, in the background, tweaking little things like a little statement in a follow-up message, or it could be a part of the CAS, or it could be part of the data set, or it could be, but it's all metrics driven. So when you get to that point of making a decision on, right, I'm going to scale now, this year has been good, or these 3 months have been good, we must be really clear about what we're actually deciding to do here. This could also be the biggest win ever in your business and your life. But I'm not here just for you to have a quick win. I'm here for you to have a sustainable business. So, Georgia, thank you for pressing me on this message now. And it's come at a perfect time with quite a few members at the same point. So let me do this. Let me unmute George. So, George Richings. Are you there, George?
Hey, Andy, how's it going?
Yeah, good. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad, thank you.
Good. So, George, let's do this, okay? So, again, thanks for prompting me with the question, the point you're out there. And we spoke, didn't we? We spoke about what you can do in the next 30 days, et cetera, but then it became really apparent speaking to you, you're at a point of, no, screw this, I want to scale now. So I said to you, with your permission, let's make this message, as always, one to many, and the same way we'll do with Alex, and we'll do with Ken, et cetera, because what you asked and requested was awesome, because you've done some really cool things, and you're at a point now of mentally, you want to be doing something a bit more, and when I look to what you've been doing, I can see an opportunity, but the opportunity is probably a bit simpler than what you may or may not think. So that said, George, could you just give everyone a brief background on who George is? So if we start off with, so industry, location, role, standard stuff, okay? And then a bit about you, I think that's important. So by you, I mean your story. And the reason why that's important when we decide to scale, it's an internal driver that makes us want to scale. We said, I want to be doing more. So I want to know you, and that's really, really important, which will come to why in a second. So industry, location, role, give everyone your business.
Yeah, cool. So I work in the finance accountancy space. Location-wise, I'm in Guildford in Surrey. So market I operate in is really the home counties and London.
Yep.
And role-wise, anything from transactional, so kind of really junior accountancy roles,
yep,
through to sort of mid-senior finance director level.
Awesome, good. And you, what's your recruitment story?
So I've been in recruitment for about 8 years. I did about 4 or 5 of those with a big Fortune 500 company called Robert Half.
Yep.
I left there managing their interim business across the southeast about 3 years ago now.
Yep.
And I just got to the stage where I got sick of doing it for a corporate.
Yep.
So I found no matter how well I got on with candidate or client, as soon as they went onto a database, they got bombarded by every consultant in the south of England.
Yep.
Either trying to sell them stuff they want or go through the stuff we went to.
Yep.
So then I made it up on my own and just do it a bit more personally.
Yep.
And I've been running for 2 years. I've been in the Inner Circle for about 14 months. So I joined it quite soon after setting up the company.
Yep. Good. You made a decision to leave Robert Half, big company, bam, got on with it. Right, you need to go next level, Inner Circle, bam. Right, I'm at this point, Andy, right, bam. You've very much got that next mindset, yeah?
Yeah, I agree.
Which is epic. I'm exactly the same. I think most of us on the call are. So let's do this then. Give a summary if you can. So just high level, when you joined the Inner Circle, you were doing this, you're now doing this. So financials, I think it was 8 to 32, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had about 8K a month in recurring temp revenue.
Okay.
And then I would probably every couple of months throw in another 5-10 grand in perm. So we're probably, in reality, probably about 12 grand when I started.
Okay.
And roughly around the 30K mark at the moment. Obviously, there's a few ups and downs.
Good. And the temp versus perm position now is what?
So at the moment, I'd probably say it's pretty heavy weighted perm. So I'm probably doing 70% perm, maybe 80% perm.
Okay.
And then the rest, 30%.
Good. The reason why I asked that, so we got a transition here, haven't we? We got a transition. So Tracy, make a note of this as well, also in the notes. Got a transition from temp to perm, and we've got a 3-4 growth in that period too, haven't we? So we've made a business change, as in the model has changed. And we've got this. Well, it's good to see. We've got this growth happening. It's like, so what's next? This 14 months or so, what's been the biggest positive change, would you say, in that period for you?
I don't remember the last time I made a cold call.
Love that.
So I remember not long before joining Inner Circle, and I was kind of hitting my head on a wall one day. I had a dial list of like 100 people in front of me, and I think in that day I connected to 3, and 2 of them told me to go away and never phone them again. And I just thought, I've done recruitment for a long time now, and yet I'm still really struggling to build a business without a brand name behind me. And it was going okay. Like, I was making better money than I did in my other company, that kind of stuff, but I still couldn't work out how to get it to the next stage. I was looking through the jobs that I filled in the last kind of 12 months, and like 80% of them have come through RMI campaigns as opposed to retained clients that I'd worked with for years gone by.
Awesome. Love that. So we got away from that horrible, dirty, icky feeling that we get of cold calling. Good. So, so we're at a point now. So you've said to us, right, this has been good. I've really enjoyed it. I want to do the next level stuff now and get into the next phase. So give us, but that's my language, not yours. So do this if you may. Tell us about what do you again want to happen now? Okay, so so what do you want to happen in the next, say, 12 months? And when we talk about scaling, whatever, just tell me what that looks like for you.
Yeah, cool. So I think when we were in London, a lot of the vibe I got off people was that they don't really want to relinquish control of their company. So I guess a lot of it is personal brand.
Yep.
Whereas I was looking, there's really a dozen clients in my whole niche that I work with quite closely who know me as George.
Yep.
Whereas the rest of it, I'm happy just for people, as long as they don't go and do a huge disservice, just to hand stuff off and let people run with it and grow it and whatever.
Yep.
So I don't love recruiting, right? I do it as a means to an end. So my idea is to not be recruiting myself.
Yeah.
The first target number that would be lovely to get to would be the 500,000 mark, but I appreciate that may not be a 12-month thing. It may be an 18 or 24-month thing.
Yep.
But that's kind of, as soon as we have that as a year and I'm not doing much recruiting, that's kind of mission successful, stage 1.
Okay, good. So we come back to your, as we know, guys, we've got 3 drivers. We've got your role, we got your team, and we got our tactics, in this case with George, systems, all that good stuff. Cool. So the role then, there's a transition of role you want to, isn't there, here? So move out of the business. Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Cool. So in terms of what you think in fact, let's be all cards on the table, okay? So when you, I think if Tracy spoke to, was it Sharon? My apologies, can't remember exactly which awesome one it was. And you said about, right, next phase is I want to be doing X. Summarize what that X is. So this next jump for you.
I don't know if it's the answer you're looking for, but I want to be doing personally as little as possible. Is that kind of where you're going with it?
Yeah, that's great. So do as little as possible. In terms of when I was going through your notes, this is a couple of months ago now, I think about 6 weeks ago. When I was going through your notes and the call notes and all this good stuff from the team, one of the things that popped up was I got a sense of this is all good, but I want to be doing something more, or something new, or something X. And again, that's my language, not yours. What was the sort of the tone or thinking behind that?
I guess I think to ever be truly successful in something, you've got to have a passion for it. And whereas loads of people in the group may have a real passion for recruitment, I don't think I do. I just happen to be okay. So I think my whole thing is if I can get a business running and get running so it can generate some cash so that I can go and use that in things that I'm actually passionate about, then that's the goal.
Okay, so there's still as possible then. This is almost our number one driver, isn't it? Because what may or may not happen is, and obviously you're grafting, you support those you need to, but it sounds like this isn't a 10-year plan for you to keep doing what you're doing now, is it?
Absolutely not.
No, you'd be banging your head against a brick wall and it'd probably get into self-destruct mode with or without knowing. Then before we know it, it's happened. So thanks for that, by the way. That's huge. And the reason why it's huge goes back to you. That decides what we do and do not do in the next steps. Okay. So really, what you want to be then is a business owner. And a guy, again, sad story. We had a guy many years ago called Ken. Went from 8K a month, I think it was 100K a month. He got the business up to that sort of level. Then we had a member contact us about a year ago, saying, "See what Ken's doing." Excuse me, he's back working for the man. But one thing he came up with was a phrase saying about Dr. Evil, i.e., you're sitting behind your laptop all day, or well, whenever you are, but you're not doing the doing as such. And I think you've got that evil streak in you, haven't you? That's what we're looking to get to. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. There's definitely synergy.
Cool, good. And I think there's a lot of it because I can hear you laughing. Okay, good. That really helps. Now, the reason why it really helps, guys, is this. Is some of you on the call now will say, I always want to do the sales call. Some of you who you hate actually speaking to anybody, and you can't speak on the phone at all. And that's happened. One story pops out in my mind, but there's going to be certain drivers to how you want your model to be. So how you want your model to be is absolutely key.
Discover how to build your recruitment employment agency using one-to-many automation and inbound strategies before anyone else in your market specialization. Check out recruitmentmarketinginternational.com.